What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie, where we believe an experience becomes truth. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and joining me now in studio, your other host, world-renowned psychic, Eddie Connor.
Hi, everybody.
Well, before we start the show, we need a word from our sponsor. Earth-Friendly Products. For over 40 years, Earth-Friendly Products have brought you the greenest home merchandise for all your family needs. Learn more at ecos.com. That's ecos.com.
That's right. Our first guest tonight on the Psychic Cafe is Courtney Kimmick. Courtney is a compassionate psychic medium and also an accomplished spirit portrait artist, and I can speak on her behalf. She's done some work for me, and it's phenomenal, Tony. In Courtney's reading, she brings through accurate evidential messages from loved ones who have crossed over to what she calls the higher side of life. Taking mediumship one step further, she is also able to draw accurate portraits of our deceased loved ones.
And in tandem with Courtney, we have the amazing Jennifer Phillips, who provides readings using her psychic, mediumship, and tarot experience, giving spiritual messages to clients and their issues relating to career, love life, or other concerns. And as a medium, Jennifer brings messages from spirit guides, deceased friends, and family members.
Love that. So please put your hands together and welcome back to our show, psychic medium Jennifer Phillips and her friend, spirit artist and medium Courtney Kimmick.
Yay! All right. The party is started for the Naughty Psychic Cafe.
That's right. So one of the first things we like to ask is, I'll tell you what makes me naughty. Well, everything that you don't see before we go live is naughty. For some of us. The Naughty Psychic Cafe for me is this. We talk about this all the time, Rachel Lang and Tony and I, how, whenever we're all hanging out, we're like, girl, you wouldn't believe what that bitch did. And then as soon as we go live, we're like, your angels are here.
Your nice spiritual space.
You have to speak in that spiritual voice. And we hate that. So what we love is authenticity. And that's what we have here with Jennifer and Courtney, of course. Now, I got to go see these ladies do a demonstration about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months now.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I was scared.
Why were you scared?
I was a little scared. That's why I sat in the back near the door, in case I needed to run out, right? And they do kind of a tag team thing. Jennifer would be talking while Courtney is drawing, and then they just literally tag team back and forth, and sometimes they complete their sentences. It's really fun to watch. But what I like the most about both of you is you're warm, you're friendly, and you don't put each other on a pedestal, and you don't put yourself on a pedestal. And you both have remarkable senses of humor, which I think you kind of have to in this line of work. And I think that's what makes you not naughty in real life, but naughty in the spiritual world. So I would like to, we'll start with Jennifer. How did you first get started and wake up as a small medium at large over there?
Well, I'll never be a large medium, I hope. I was a kid, when I woke up, and I think we've talked about it before that I was living in a haunted house, and I started seeing spirits and feeling spirits and saying, please don't come and get me, and holding the covers over my head, and then that just, I think I was already talking to spirits at that point, and so I really I kept allowing myself to open, and then eventually you get messages for people around you. You're getting messages for who's going to pass in the family, who's not well, that your teacher's pregnant before she's showing.
And his name is Mr. Lane.
Yeah, Mrs. Melman actually, So that's sort of how it started, and it unfolded, and then I never really stopped after that. You would get messages about business deals you were working on when I was in corporate. I would know things were going to go through. You just feel it.
You do feel it. And how about you, Courtney? Were you raised in a haunted house too?
I wasn't. Completely opposite story. I've been very naive my whole life, and I was a very psychic kid. I'd have dreams growing up, and things in my life would happen the very next day that I would dream the night before. But I really believe that my gift kind of came about through my life experience. Obviously, I think I was born with this gift, but I grew up in a household where my mother had cancer for most of my childhood.
Wow.
And I think through the grief and the one day at a time and the life and death, the question of life and death, my whole entire life, that kind of brought out my natural senses. And as I got older, I kind of did have some ghostly experiences. Things would follow me around, move in my house. And then really one day I woke up and I really just started receiving messages. I'd walk down the street and I could sense the lady walking her dog past me, her mother, her grandmother, and it just kind of evolved from there.
Well, I have a friend who did readings back in North Carolina 20 years ago before I moved here. And she was an everyday person. This is how she described herself. And she went to yoga one day, and it was a Kundalini yoga class.
I was like, where's he going?
Okay. It was Kundalini yoga, and we hadn't heard of that in North Carolina. We thought it was devil worship. And she was in the class, and she was on her little rubber mat, and she leaned forward to do whatever downward dog. And when she came up, she saw auras and chakras and everything. It was like kaleidoscope overload with electromagnetic fields.
Wow.
And it blew her centers wide open. It was that simple, and she was in her 30s when it happened.
Yep, I agree.
And I was like, I told her, I was like, Sue, that is so much easier than being in a car wreck or, having a head injury in the 7th grade on the way to get a Subway sandwich and a peanut butter cookie for lunch. Okay.
So true.
Now, so what we were doing before we went live, everybody, is Courtney and Jennifer both, we're all sitting here in the room, we're doing technical stuff because we're very professional. And they were like, I'm getting something about a woman with the dentures, or is it a loose tooth, or da-da-da-da. They're going back and forth, and they're like already starting to tune in. So if you would both just tell the audience for yourself what your strength is, Jennifer, and then Courtney, what your strength is as psychics and mediums.
I'm sort of unusual in that I am clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. I do it all. And most people don't do it all, but for some reason I get all of it. And I'll say that I think clairsentience is probably my weakest sense, which, some people would say, really? I'd like to have a clairsentience as weak as yours. But truly, I think I hear all the time. I mean, I don't really see when I'm driving. I think that's sort of a rule. I don't want to see spirits walking across the highway. That'd be sort of unnerving, but I hear all the time. All the time.
And when you do see them...
Well, before you say that, Eddie, for the people out there that really don't know what those are, clairsentient, all that stuff, could you explain what those are?
Yeah. So clairsentient is when you feel things. A lot of people have clairsentient. They say it's a gut feeling. I actually go, and I know Courtney does too, one step further, and we'll actually feel an ailment in our body, in that particular part of our body. So if somebody has diabetes, we might get... sore feet or toes because of the circulation issues. Or if someone's not feeling well, we may get the upset tummy. So that's the clairsentience part of it. The clairaudience is hearing. It's like I've got a radio station in my ear playing and giving information either for myself or the people around me. Clairvoyant is seeing, and either inside your head, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, or right out in front of you. The way my son sees right out in front of him a lot of times. Did I miss one? I feel like I missed one. Clairvoyant,
No, there's clear knowing.
Clear knowing. Yeah, claircognizance. Or you just know. You don't know how you know, you just know. You can't say, I saw it, I heard it, I feel it. You just know it.
I love that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I just want
that's
people
a great question because everybody is psychic
Right.
and everybody's got some degree of this, and that's why it's important for them to know. I think it's a great question.
We did forget one. We forgot clairgustance, which is the smell and taste, where you actually taste things and smell things.
Wow, and it's called
kind of do that.
Clairgustance.
And clarifaction.
Or clarifaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and all those clairs are really just our sixth senses heightened. And I also have all the clairs. I use all my senses to receive spirit, but I'm very clairaudient. I can hear them perfectly. And a lot of times I just, tell me something, just tell it to me. So,
Girl, let me tell you something. How I hear them, first of all, whenever you're talking about it sounding like a radio station, I was going to ask if it was AM, FM, or Wi-Fi. But sometimes it's all three, right?
it can be, yeah.
And so when I hear them, maybe 20% of the time I hear it as clear as you. Their spirit guides I have a tendency to hear as clear as us talking. Dead people, it does truly sound like, and my joke is, an AM radio station with a portable radio duct taped to a donkey's ass going through the Mojave Desert. Like I hear every third word. It's like, I'm like, Rose is here.
Too funny. Too funny. And that's probably just you developing.
Okay.
And it'll get more clear as time goes on.
Oh, clear. Developing.
Developing.
So are you ladies already starting to pick up from these rowdy people in the room, excluding me because I'm perfect?
That's funny.
And then they're like, and Eddie.
Yeah, I think so. I know there's been somebody with me throughout the afternoon.
Oh,
and
then-
hopefully it belongs to one of you and not the security guide. Which
that stuff happens.
it does happen.
it does
the
happen.
strongest spirits always come through first, and you never know.
And you have no control over who it is. And whoever gets in line first, that's just kind of how it works. We watch
Exactly.
Ghost. I watched Stolte Mae Brown. I know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in the here, you can't see Jacob. He's off camera, and we have Tony obviously here. And then I'm over here. So fire away, ladies, and tell us what you're feeling, sensing, and that sort of thing. And then we'll also narrate as we go along.
Do you want to start with the gentleman who's been with you all day?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with the gentleman. Well, definitely I felt a male energy with me. I want to say he's more of a grandfather figure. I really want to put him as a pilot or some kind of military training back in the day. I definitely see wings, and I just want to, I keep hearing the word pilot over and over and over again.
And I see the stripes on the jacket. There's stripes on the jacket.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he possibly had a stroke or some kind of dementia, because I'm getting a sensation kind of around the left side of my face. And with that, I also have a kind of a weird buzzy feeling on the left side of my arm. So I'm wondering if either he was a left-handed man or, through the stroke, he might have had some, mobility issues in his left arm or hand.
Yeah, we might also have two different people here. We may have a pilot here with us. We may also have a gentleman who was quite handsome who had a stroke or a heart attack type experience, because there is that numbness in the face which comes with heart attack and stroke.
Exactly. And as we do this, the spirit world, they will, all come together and talk to us at one time. And as we build the energy in the room and get into this, they'll start to separate, and we'll be able to pinpoint who's talking and what ailment goes with who.
I love that you say that. And it literally is like the movie Ghost, if you saw it, where Whoopi Goldberg's character is sitting there and she's starting to realize she is an authentic medium. She is receiving messages from dead people. And then you cut to the scene and she is sitting there and there is a room filled, at least 50 or 60 dead people standing around. And you see her close her eyes and she's like, is Carlos here? Is Carlos here? Carlos, step forward. That is literally how it is. And all 50 of them will talk simultaneously. And then Carlos will step forward. And once in a while, you'll get somebody who's a little eager and they'll want to jump into the human body. And I don't like that.
Oh, I like that. That's fun.
No, that's naughty.
Well, as psychics, when let's say there's people in a room, when somebody says, that's somewhat, I can kind of agree with some of what you're saying, but some of it I don't recognize. How far do you tell them information so it doesn't feel like we're giving you the answer?
Well, it actually could be two different people. We actually could be picking up two different spirits. We could be picking up a pilot, and we could be picking up the handsome man who smells really good, which I think is with you. I think he's with you, Tony.
Well,
actually.
I mean, like my grandfather Rose, my mom's dad, was a merchant Marines.
Well, that would be stripes on the sleeve.
And that could
but
be,
he wasn't a pilot.
Pilot.
well, it
Not
could be
about-
the planes coming onto the,
Right.
you know, I mean, I think in the military, not to make it stretch or fit in there,
Right.
but as a starting point, it's like putting your finger in a hole of water and taking it out. They'll give you one little bit of info, and
Right.
you have to say it for them to give you more.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is like their starting point in our little minds, and they can only use our vocabulary, our life experience, and me, you know, I'm
Yeah,
not the
and we've
sharpest
nev-
tool in the shed as far as, you know,
Well, I'll tell you what's
schooling goes.
But
Yeah.
what's interesting is before we went on the air, as we were taking notes of the man we were picking up, I wrote down Southern Star. And Southern Star is something that the Marines use to navigate.
Wow.
Interesting. I
So
love
it might
it.
be, yeah.
It
And
might
he
be.
did have dementia, so.
Okay, great. And also as we go forward, I'm going to be trying to sketch the images of your deceased loved ones, which is a way that I connect as well.
Oh, great.
And as we get into the sketch, more information will come forward.
Awesome. I love it.
Yay.
Now, there's also a pine smell that comes in. Would you relate to pines or with him at all? Pine trees or the smell of pine? Or, I mean, it could be, I don't know where it was located, but Southern Star could indicate south, but I mean, it's a little, I mean, your accent kind of gives it away.
Well, actually, though, my mother was born here in
Oh,
California.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not talking about, but this pine smell is really strong. I don't know if it's pine sol or pine smell here because it's real strong.
The only thing, I mean, I'll just say something that popped into my head, that my grandfather, when I was a kid, gave me these huge pine cones
Oh, well, that's
Well,
from
interesting.
the what's the big tree, the big pine trees,
From
or
the redwood.
yeah, the redwoods,
the
yeah,
redwood.
The sequoias.
the sequoias there. Yeah,
Huh.
they gave me, they were huge,
Well,
so that popped into my head.
that's because it's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
And then we
That's
obviously were with you.
crazy good though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering too if he was a smoker because I feel like I have a smoker
I
with
think
me.
he was a smoker, if I remember right. Yeah.
There's also something about a hip. I don't know if he had hip or back problems, but when you said smoker, I got a lot of discomfort in my fanny area, like it could be sciatica or leg. I mean, that sort of when you start to have knee problems, that finds its way up. But I feel like my whole right leg is a bit uncomfortable. Can
I'm
you
not-
place that with him?
I'm not for sure, and I can
Okay.
ask just because he's been gone quite a while. So, yeah, I don't remember.
There's something about. Do you have the tattoo? Who has the tattoo? There's somebody who's got a tattoo.
He may have, but, I mean, my uncle had one. Both my uncles had one because they were military, too. So,
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Military. Did he just say military?
Yeah, he said military.
He said
but it-
military.
Yeah, but I think we established that a few
Yeah.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
yeah, because I have my dad and all his brothers
Military
were military.
family.
Military.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if he may have also had in his passing of the heart. I feel like I want to go to my chest and I feel like I'm just kind of dropping, kind of like a sudden death or I feel like he lived to be an olderish age, but I want to say there's some heart issues at the end that may have
I have to say
pushed
that
his
sounds
health.
more like my uncle
Okay.
Yeah.
than my
'cause-
grandpa.
Well, they're all, know when that happens, they're
Yeah.
all coming together and they're all kind of talking because they want to let you know that they're watching over you.
Right.
I also pull in a letter M with this and the number 3. Were there 3 of them, or
Three.
3 brothers, or 3 born on this, or somebody born on the 3rd?
My dad had 3
3 brothers, and then
Yeah, there was 4 of them.
and then the initial M.
Let me look through there.
Oh, that could be mother. M for. I see
My
Eddie.
grandmother's last maiden name was M, but
Would she have
Oh.
had the curly hair?
she used to do a beehive.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I could have put it with an
Minute.
updo.
Yeah.
Now earlier I had this lady with
Lady,
me as
yeah.
well, and it's probably with you.
And she's gone also. So.
No,
Yeah.
I'm the whole thing with her is her teeth. I don't know if she had false teeth or did you make fun of her? Was there a name like call her like gummy grandma or like something with her
I
teeth
remember
that you might have?
her. I remember her taking her teeth out, and we did joke about it at one time. And yeah,
Was she a drinker too? A fun-loving lady?
Oh, yeah,
she's
we
been
got
with
the
me
drink, we got her.
all day. See, we've already have notes written down from
Yeah,
earlier, and
we
this is all down there. Okay. She was a
I'm
funny
literally
lady
going
too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Country woman and kicking up the knickers and like just real
Fun.
just fun loving and maybe kind of a naughty mouth. naughty psychic.
Kind of, yeah.
I feel like she would have had some spunk in her that it may have
She
turned
had
her-
spunk, put
definitely
it that
turned
way.
some heads.
A little
Yeah.
too much,
A little bit
perhaps.
too much
Yeah.
spunk.
And we picked up with her something about possibly breast related or chest related with her.
You know
What? It wasn't breast though.
Cancer in the family, because I definitely heard cancer when, with her.
Not with her. My grandfather died of lung cancer. Her
Okay.
son, my Uncle Jim,
Was
that
cancer.
died of lung cancer,
Gotcha.
and he was in the Marines,
Okay, because
and he had tattoos.
she was talking about the cancer, so automatically in my mind I assume, oh, it must have been her. She's telling me she died of cancer, poor thing, But okay, so she did just the information that she's bringing up in the family. So know that when that comes, your whole family's with you. They're looking after you, and they're all trying to take this opportunity to say hello.
Hi everybody.
And
Hi everybody.
And as we're talking, we're sketching. So hopefully you might. This is a male that we're sketching. I'm not sure exactly which one of these guys it is, but we're going to continue the drawing.
I do all my family ancestry, so I should know.
Perfect.
Back to Jesus.
Okay. No pressure on me to get it right.
No,
right?
well, hey, that means there's a lot. If you know a lot of the history, we were
Yeah.
picking up horses. Sometimes horses are a relation to an area where horses are raised, or we would associate thoroughbreds being raised with they'll stick me in North Carolina or the southern part of the
Right.
where there's a lot of horse ranches.
Well, my
but-
sisters raced horses or had horses. So.
Oh, good. And maybe a gambler too in the
And
family.
gambler,
We thought maybe
yeah.
there might have been some gambling going on.
Well, I do have, but it's a female.
Well, that's okay.
It
We just
means
picked up
it's
gambling.
in the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way too much.
you guys have an
gambling.
interesting family.
Well, there you go. We're just like
Maybe we're learning too much
I know,
talking
right?
to these dead people.
I know.
I'm
It's
like,
like what? So if you see
Tony's
us,
like,
just
"We have
go.
to go to
Yeah, that's
commercial now."
lovely.
Yeah.
No, word from
You're
our
right.
sponsor.
Yeah. Earth-friendly product. No.
There's a distinct smell around your grandfather, and it smells like aftershave to me. And I feel like I want to stick my nose like right up into his neck and just snuggle there, because he tells me he smelled really good. He was a handsome man,
He was.
a very handsome man.
man. That's something we had gotten earlier.
Both my
Yeah,
grandfathers were
yeah.
actually, but yeah, if it's my mother's dad, he was very handsome.
Really, like, yeah, if he was walking the earth, it's too bad he's not age appropriate.
As well as the female, because I feel like the lady was telling me how proper she was, and she really was a smart dresser, and she really made sure that she looked good on the outside. And I'm
My
not sure,
grandma was
would you
always like that.
understand a really bright colored lipstick? Because I feel like
It's funny.
she really wants to put lipstick on, and it might even be an Oprah conversation for the teeth thing, but I really feel like she's wearing makeup and has to be just right.
Yeah,
When
my
you s-
grandma's suite was like that. She
Was
was
she?
very, everything had to look pretty, like
Yeah, very pretty.
clothes and hair and yeah.
It's funny because we are so linked that when she started to say lipstick, I heard, I don't leave the house without it.
I want to throw out a name, and names are kind of, the best psychics and medium in the world are only good at about 80%, but I keep hearing the name Charlie or Charles, and I just want to throw that out there. I'm not sure if there's a Charlie.
Well, yes, my grandmother's dad.
Great.
Yeah, and his last name last name starts with an M, because I remember you saying
Saying,
M.
yeah,
and from
yeah.
earlier, yeah.
But grandma's
good.
dad was shaped differently than dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
They were a little bit, the word I hear is bolder, a little bit bigger bone, a little bit bigger people. And that particular grandfather, I think that Courtney's talking about, there's something about, I want to say he has a little bit of a tummy here that he liked to eat.
Well, the sweets do.
Oh.
But,
A little bit too much, perhaps, like to eat. Was there also a still in the family?
what was it?
A still or a still near?
Moonshine.
Not necessarily moonshine.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily moonshine. I don't want to make that.
Not that I know of in like my dad and all that, but I remember them. They did make some moonshine once.
Lemon drop.
I don't know, but I
heard
mean, I was
lemon drop.
young. I just remember them making moonshine. But my ancestors from Kentucky used to, of course, make moonshine.
Yeah,
There
and
you
my
go.
family too.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, flat out moonshine.
Yeah, it
or
was
white
like-
lightning as they
Yeah.
call it.
And now I've got goosebumps with the with the still.
This is
Yeah.
a fun group we got here.
Yeah.
On this world and on the outside world.
They're having more fun over there than we
Oh,
are
I'm
over
sure.
here.
What do you got going
That's
over
a sto-
there?
Yeah, let's see.
I know. So let me show. This is just a couple
Oh,
minutes. sketch.
Tony, you got another station coming up. Do you have another station coming up?
Not yet.
Another channel coming up? There's something else coming.
Well, channel, yeah.
Okay, there's another channel coming up.
Ooh, yay! I love it. All right, so we have I love that, by the way. Let's see. This, not saying that that's him. This was my Charles Wesley Morris.
Oh.
He was my grandmother's, if you can see it, people probably out there can't see it, but the one in the middle, this guy here, that was my great-grandfather. And then this is my
Oh my
grandfather,
gosh.
Victor Ruzicka, who died. He died in a fire.
Oh,
Oh, how horrible.
Yeah, and so, but he's the one that had dementia, and he was originally from Chicago and moved to California in 1938. But I'm trying to think here. I mean,
I think that's the one. I
There's
want to put my
something-
nose up under his
There's
chin.
something in
he's the one that smelled
Smells
good.
good, yeah.
He was a teamster. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was up in the. And I can see if I can find I'm going on Ancestry.com.
Too fun.
I know. And so then my grandfather, sweet, where's
How
Grandpapsy?
fabulous is this?
he
Do you wish
loves
we had
it.
this at Dems?
Yeah,
This
I
is my
know, just
grandfather's suite.
instant.
So
Oh wow.
that's kind of similar. I would say the closest to it, but his name's Floyd Sweet.
Floyd.
That's such a
This could be him. I can see it in the longer face.
Yeah.
Maybe a younger version of him.
See the hair, how it kind
Or-
of loops? Definitely
or-
always younger. Usually they come around the age of 35, 40.
yeah.
Because the hair itself, but then this is my uncle that was in
Jimmy
the
Lee.
Marine. Jimmy Lee. He's the one that was in the Marines. He's the one that died of a heart attack.
Interesting.
He had lung cancer.
Wow.
He actually survived lung cancer, smoked like a fish or smoked like a chimney, even through
Too
chemo,
funny.
and then died of a heart attack after he beat lung cancer.
Oh, yeah.
That would have pissed me off.
That would have pissed me off too.
So sad.
That's
But anyway.
amazing.
I would say, just at staring from across, it kind of looks like the grandfather's suite.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He was a good man.
Did he like automobiles, classic cars?
No, actually, my Uncle Floyd,
Uncle Floyd was classic
he
cars?
collected classic cars, and
It
he
just
was
popped in.
he was a Master Sergeant General in the Army.
Oh.
He was the top as high as you could go, and he was the CEO of a company, and
Wow.
actually, let's see what.
Businessman.
It
Yeah,
sounds
oh.
like they're all still coming in on top of each other.
Well, it's funny because I was going to say, as you're an entrepreneur, and I feel like you come from a long family of driven entrepreneurial
Yeah,
people.
I do.
And I almost want to say that somebody else in your lineage might have had TV broadcasting experience.
I'm trying to think if anybody else was in TV. I mean, I've had a cousin that was an actress, but it was a distant cousin.
Yeah, this would be like in your history, the grandparents or father, or his family.
Yeah.
They definitely support you from the other side in your business
Oh, I
endeavors,
believe that.
especially they keep you driven and they drive you and they very
I
successful.
looked up to my Uncle Floyd because he was one of those guys that like I said, it was underground vaults and storage where it was where they stored.
Limestone vaults.
Yeah, and salt, it was in the Kerry salt mines when they would store money, stocks, film, whatever. But his employees they feared him but respected him because he was military.
Oh yes,
It's like, come in, and if you didn't get to the point, I don't want to hear the jibber jabber. Get to the point, get it done, go and do it right. And I mean,
time is money.
he was, and but I admire him for what he, growing up in granola with no money to becoming a millionaire.
Amazing.
So.
Well,
yeah.
apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
I hope so.
Fall far from a cherry tree.
But thank you. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's great work. I mean, it is. It was hard. It's like there's so many of spirits.
Family member. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a party.
It's
over
like a
here.
party. And
Really, it's like
it's funny because the way that I see them as far as the drawings go, I can envision them in my mind's eye sitting kind of in a library, like at a really fancy hotel,
Right.
and where there's, they're having tea and there's nice couches and they're all sitting around talking and reminiscing and having a good time, and then someone sitting and drawing.
Have you
Oh,
guys
that's cool. I
ever
like
been to Mackinac Island?
I have not.
Did you see the movie Somewhere in Time?
I don't think I
I've seen that one.
No.
Oh my God,
Where's
we
that?
can't be friends.
Well, I'll have to watch it
where is it?
later.
It's an island in Michigan, in the middle of Lake Michigan, and it is where they filmed the movie Somewhere in Time. So every single year, these people, diehard fans. The movie came out in 1980, and it was a bust at the box office because it was about the afterlife.
Oh.
And I was in North Carolina, so 95% of our demographic didn't go see movies like that.
Right.
So
Evil.
I'd have to sneak and go see it at night. And it was about the afterlife. And at the hotel in Mackinac, I think it's called the Grand Hotel, they still have the horse-drawn carriages there. When you go to dinner or to
that's
lunch, you have to dress up. Ladies must be in heels, fine attire. The gentlemen wear tuxedos.
Wow.
And that's the feeling I get when you talk about how they come in to your, hey.
And it is kind of like that. It's very it's formal yet casual.
Yes.
It's elegant yet relaxed.
Yeah.
And they're very excited. And hopefully I get the drawing somewhat right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like they can smoke their cigars and all of that stuff back in there,
Exactly.
like it used
Have
to
a little
be.
brandy.
Yes.
Exactly.
I like that. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're listening to the Psychic Cafe. Actually, it's the Naughty Psychic Cafe. I'm Eddie Connor,
I'm Tony Sweet.
and we're here with Jennifer Phillips and with Courtney Kimmick. And we just have this picture. If you don't mind, if you'll just hold it up one more time. This is what Courtney does with the spirit art. Am I saying it correctly? The spirit portrait?
Spirit portrait's correct.
Here, give it to me so they can see your face next
Oh,
to
there you
your
go.
drawing.
Look
There
at
you are.
you.
Well, thank you.
Hold it
Yeah.
up a little bit, there you go.
That looks good.
Yeah, that's great.
I love
And when did you start using your portrait drawings?
The portraits came about like 5 years ago, and it's almost like having an itch you have to scratch. I woke up one day, I had already been receiving messages from loved ones, and I kept seeing this flash of a 1970s picture in my mind's eye. It was in the shower, and I kept seeing this lady, and I see this lady, and I was rushing out the door for work, and I had to sit down and just draw it out. And I sat down, I did a 3-minute sketch of this woman. I kind of had an idea who it might belong to. I had been working as an illustrator with an author, and I asked this guy, hey, our books are dedicated to this woman, one of your relatives. I've never seen her. Send her picture over. And later that night, he sent her picture over, and it was the complete photographic match
That's crazy.
of the woman.
Crazy.
Wow, cool.
Funny thing is that guy unfortunately never talked to me again.
You scare him?
I scared him. He never talked to me again.
Well, it also could be that if he knew that you could do that, then you knew other things too that
It's
maybe you
possible.
shouldn't have known.
It's possible. But I ultimately drew his mother-in-law, and which was an amazing, life-changing experience for me. A little spooky for him, but hopefully one day, he'll get over it.
Wow. Hopefully. Yeah, and I think this is the norm. I mean, this is all normal for us, and I think it's getting ready to become more normal instead of paranormal across
I
the
agree.
country. I really do think that.
I agree too, and I hope so. It's still kind of a taboo subject. The metaphysical field is a small community compared to the rest of the nation, and the veil is thinning, so they say. The line between our world and the spirit world is lots more people are recognizing spirits and enjoying, making that connection. So yeah, I hope so. It's definitely normal for me.
Do you know how police departments will bring in sketch artists? Have you ever been called in for a murder or somebody that's ran away or missing person or anything?
You know, it's funny. That's a good question, and yes and no. In this field, I work with all types of people. I've drawn deceased relatives for many police officers, veterans, 35 years in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And recently there is a missing case in Pennsylvania where me and my cop friend, we sat down and I drew the sketch, and we sent it over, but no one ever has contacted me. And it's a very gray area because it's considered not evidential in the field. So
Science.
It wouldn't hold up in a court of law, So yes and no.
Okay. Well, but it
I
may
like
help them in the
I
long
like to
run, but-
practice,
Yeah.
But so far the credibility issue is still a problem.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's fascinating to me. With house clearings, I know you ladies do that as well. What does that entail? Do you go in just to do, and I'm not being silly either, do you go in and do like heavy duty poltergeist situations, or just little sort of like mischievous spirits, or just trapped negative energy that's in the house? What do you do?
I've never had a poltergeist. Have you had a poltergeist?
No, never.
Thank you. Me
Yeah,
either.
never.
Now my grandma
Really?
accused me of.
I mean, I'm just surprised because, well, Hollywood always sensationalizes everything.
Exactly.
So
That's why there's porn.
With the clearings, it's more so you're clearing out what's the energy impressions that are left in a space. Sometimes the land can hold a lot of history, and
Right.
very sensitive people can pick up on that, which is why we have all these great shows, the Ghost Paranormal Investigators and the Dead Files and all
My
that.
Haunted House.
Exactly, My Haunted House,
Yeah.
which I love all those shows.
I have a friend that's going to be one of the actresses on that. The reenactors. Is that how you say it?
Reenactment.
Yes, thank
I've
you.
actually also been called into houses where kids are playing with Ouija boards.
Really?
Ooh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
dangerous.
and they're just open that door wide open and bring it all in. And then the problem is, of course, if you don't throw the Ouija board away,
Is that what you have to do? Is throw the
well,
Ouija-
basically, you
Don't
need
you
to
burn it?
Well, there's all kinds of, I'm sure, ways of getting
Right.
it
Go eat ice
rid of
cream?
it. Yeah, but you get these people calling them saying they're back. Well, it's not necessarily the same ones that are back. It might be the new ones your teenagers or your
bringing through.
are bringing through, or after a divorce. I've been called by realtors that can't get rid of a house. There's nothing wrong with the house. Nobody likes the way the house feels. You go in and you change the vibration of the house sells.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I knew someone who brought an amulet from a voodoo psychic in New Orleans back home, and it was supposed to be to make money, but it was the exact opposite.
Oh my.
And they lost their house, they lost
Oh,
their checking accounts, they lost their jobs, they lost everything. And they finally got so desperate they brought somebody in and they tracked it back to that amulet. They said, when did it happen? And they said, exactly 3 years ago. They said, what did you do exactly 3 years ago? They said, oh, we had the vacation of a lifetime. We went to New Orleans.
Oh my. They messed
they-
with the Shadow Man.
Yes, child. And literally, and then they took it and they burned the amulet in the middle of something out in the middle of the woods or something like that. Now, I don't know what happened to this couple.
I was just talking about New Orleans the other day and
I
what
wanna
I
ta-
would not mess with if I took a jaunt over yonder.
No. I want to take a
New
group of
Orleans.
people there because
I love it.
Oh, I love
because
New Orleans
oh, me
too.
too. I've lived there for a second, but I also know I've had past lives there. So when we were there in the 7th grade, I was having these ridiculous past life bleed throughs. And the trees were talking to me, and I'm like, I'm crazy. And I would not play with nothing,
Right.
meaning I just would keep everything with my little bubble of light and just
Yes.
have my little group running in their bubble light from thing to thing and eat beignets.
Very good.
Ooh,
That
and drink
sounds
chicory
amazing.
coffee.
Yeah, I've never had that.
Well, I have a question. Okay, so I'm staying at this house right now. I've been there for almost a month, and every summer I watch my friend's house. This house is, I think it was built in 1930s or something like that. And I don't spook that easy. But every time at night, I'll go and shut the back door because it's a beautiful home, and I shut the back door and I look out. I get chills all over my body, and I get almost like this fear every single night. And I'll just shut the door, lock it, and I'll walk upstairs and I'm fine.
Do you pick up the man?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
It's funny
crazy
because I believe that in this situation, that's your own relatives. It's
Really?
possible. Because a lot of times when people do have these sensations, it's your own people.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And for years, I would have particularly balloons, helium balloons that lose a little bit of air and kind of float right above the ceilings.
Yep. Right
They
into your
follow
face.
me.
Yeah.
I've seen them jump the door jambs, climb up the chairs, and that was kind of the start of my what you call your development, your unfoldment, the balloons.
When getting concrete information from spirit that they are there.
Exactly. And here I thought my house was haunted.
Or
And
that,
Really?
or that you didn't use a dryer sheet.
Or I didn't use the dryer sheet, exactly. But I thought that something was in my house, and I went to see this medium who I'd never been to a medium before, and she's like, "It's not your house, it's you. You know, they're trying to smack you around and let you know. You know."
Yeah. It's
So-
just weird. It's always the same spot, and it's like in my place, nothing. I go to my parent, nothing. Even the house I grew up in, had a ghost in
Yeah.
it. But it didn't scare me. This just gets that. Oh,
Is
like
it
that.
near back stairs?
Well, it goes out, and then there goes upstairs up to the pool.
Yeah, but
Oh,
are there
water.
servants' stairs in this house?
There's a butler's pantry, but that's just been built.
It's
Maybe back in the day there was.
Almost like he's hanging out in the backyard having a cigarette, watching the
Kind
back
of.
door.
Well, you
kind
know
of.
what's
It's
funny?
just crazy.
Water will, it's an energy conductor, so
Mm-hmm.
water mirrors. So if you're feeling it in that area where the pool might
Maybe.
be, it could be just the conduit, the strongest area of the house to
Yeah, it
where
just
you'd
has
be
a
able
little
to.
spook to it. I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
And he's going to be very present tonight because we've been talking about
I
him.
know.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Thanks.
now when you
just
go
say
out that
hi.
door.
Thanks.
Just say hi. I'm going to bed. Can you keep an eye on the
Yeah.
house?
Well,
Give him a job.
Well, the other night, the dog was barking. We're looking down from the patio. The deck, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I left the back door open. So I walked out. I walked down, and I went to shut the door, and of course I started feeling that. And then I saw a head go. Whoop. Somebody was there.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
somebody
In
was
their backyard?
Uh-huh. They were laying on their back patio furniture, and
How
I was
did
just like,
they get back there?
on the side of the house. They don't have, which I'm surprised they don't have a gate. No, they have a gate, but you can just open it and walk in.
Interesting.
But I was just like, oh my God, there is somebody there, because all this time I'm thinking like
so-
that.
Is it a sliding glass door?
No,
Okay.
It's a regular closed
Ooh,
door.
damn.
Single door,
Yeah,
closed
single
door.
door.
yeah,
And the kitchen is it gold? Is it gold or yellow or beige? It's something warm color back there.
it was beige, and now they just renovated their house, like $1 million renovation. So it's like
so they stirred up something then too. if
probably.
it's-
It's possible too. You can definitely once you start digging in the space, it stirs things up.
But anyway,
Interesting.
So say hi tonight.
I will.
Thanks for keeping an eye on the
I always
house.
do.
Yeah,
I'm like,
definitely-
hi, close the
definitely-
door, lock, and then go upstairs.
Give him a job. Give Spirit a job.
Yeah, that's true. You can't give him a job.
Ah, you scared me.
No.
Make him feel good.
Guard the house. Let the dog out.
So how easy is it to clear? I mean, to go in and re-establish the frequency in a home.
You can do it, and you don't even have to go to the home.
Wow.
I do it from the comforts of my own home.
Really?
I use
can.
what's a tool called a pendulum, which is a little crystal, hanging from a string. And, the spirit world, they work on intention. So, energy is everywhere. You don't have to be in the space to clear the space. You can sit quietly in a meditation form or however you like it. I set the intention with the address of the place, and I say a little prayer, so to speak, clear the energy from the earth up. I assist souls to the light and the earthbound spirits in the area that might be hanging out and cross them over. And the pendulum will swing and swing and swing like a helicopter. And when the energy has been cleared, the pendulum will stop and you'll know it's done.
What's the longest that pendulum has swung?
I did a house, South Pasadena, built in
Oh,
the 1800s,
I was
a
gonna
historical
say.
home. And that thing swung and swung for at least 5 minutes and then done. And you could feel the energy. It's heavy and dense, and then you can feel it just light as a feather.
It almost sounds like when you say the energy, how they rate earthquakes.
It is.
Oh, yeah,
it's
because
true,
each
kind of.
decibel is exponential.
And they say 10.0 is 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, we'll
and
all die.
You want no, but they
Interesting.
give it a certain amount of minutes for each.
Huh.
Yeah.
This would have been a 9. But it's a lovely home, and I was in it after I cleared it, and it felt great. Nothing in there.
And I've cleared them remotely, but I'm crazy. I like haunted houses. I like graveyards. So I like to go to the house.
That's a good date right
if
there.
it's within if it's within certain number of
Reason.
miles. I like to go to the house and be there and be in the energy. But that's me. But I cleared a house in Vancouver. It took a couple. It had been used as a halfway house, and boy, it had a lot of energy in it.
Can colors affect energy in your house?
Absolutely.
Because I've seen people with black walls or
Red
red
rum,
red walls.
Absolutely affect. And even colors that were there. When I bought my house, I have to say, the house was painted like a fun house. One room was turquoise blue. The other was sunshine yellow.
Were they
the living room, they were musicians and free spirits.
Oh, okay.
And they really,
Wow.
my upstairs bedroom was bright pink, and they had zebra stripes everywhere.
Ooh, wow.
So after we had painted the whole house is cozy, warm yellow lights, I kept feeling this urge to put turquoise back. And I kept wanting to buy fluffy turquoise pillows and obnoxious yellow things to put back in the kitchen. And it wasn't until after I energy cleared the whole property did those urges go away.
Wow.
In
That's
Dorothy Dandrid's old house up here in the hills, someone bought it, and they came in and their personality changed immediately.
Really?
And it was a single woman that bought the house. And then all of her friends started talking about how she'd started to change and stuff. So she had lots of money. She had her designer come in and she said, I don't care what you do, but this whole room, this whole wall has to be red. And she was like, that's not going to look good. You think it's going to look good. It's not going to look good. And she was adamant. And after they painted it red, all hell broke loose.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And then after Miss Thing was run out of her house, the neighbor, I love how neighbors do this after the fact. You're like, you know who used to live there. It's like, that's where Dorothy Dandy died.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so don't paint your walls red.
Don't paint the walls red.
And is also with energy is plants. Is the more plants you have, the more positive, or how does that work? Because I know if you tell a plant how
Venus fly plant.
Yeah, right.
I'm not too sure. I have to say, I know that it's good luck to plant a rosemary bush at the entrance of your doorways or an entryway.
And basil, same thing. It can bring money, supposedly.
Yeah. But I think
could you go pick me some basil up, please?
anything in nature is calming. Anything from Mother Earth is grounding and calming. So, yeah, I mean, a beautiful garden can always help, not hurt.
That's for
What
sure.
if you put basil at the front and the back door and under your windows?
Perfect. Do it up.
You should get some olive oil and some garlic and a little cheese and whip yourself up some pesto.
Exactly
Go to Whole
Oh,
Foods.
thanks. Now I'm hungry. Appreciate that. Well, we have a few minutes left, so I'd love to talk about if people really want to contact you. How do they do it? Can you do it through Skype? How do you like to do readings and work with your clients?
Yeah, I enjoy being face to face if you can, especially for the drawings. It really helps me. I actually like to touch hands in private sessions just to get into your energy, and that's how I like to start. But Jennifer and I are going to be doing some events around LA, and that's a really great way to put your foot into going to see a medium if you're a little scared or just it's not scary at all. It's actually wonderful and loving and healing. But if you're a little hesitant, you can contact me through my website, CourtneyKimmick.com, and send me a message, and that's how you can contact me. But I do Skype and phone readings as well.
And are you guys doing another event at the Crystal Shrine as well?
No, I think we've got another location that we're discussing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's even
And
better.
something different.
Just moving on up like George and Wheezy.
I'm
How can people get in touch with you, Jennifer?
I'm on Facebook at Medium Jennifer Phillips, and I'm not the English one. I'm the American one. And TorontoPsychicReader.com and jenniferlamedium.com. Just send me a message, and I'll actually be in Lancaster in the middle of the month and back at Flappers on August 18th for the monthly show.
And Flappers, if you don't know, is in Burbank.
Yep.
Which is so funny. I was like going over to Bed Bath & Beyond because that's what I do.
You needed turquoise pillows.
Yes, that's what, and bright yellow.
Everybody
I need
needs
canary
turquoise
yellow
Turquoise
pillows.
Right,
And
yeah.
I saw Flappers. It was like Arsenio Hall. It was Dana
yeah.
Carvey. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? That's what I love about LA.
I love LA. I just was at IKEA the other day and I ran into Flappers and I'm like, there it is.
I know.
I'm going to see Jennifer.
Yeah, it's right there on the corner.
It's
a
huge.
great
It's
space.
beautiful. It
Yeah,
is.
near the AMC 16.
Yeah, right
Oh,
there.
great.
Mhm.
We're actually
Wow.
doing the Burbank Comedy Festival, and my compatriot Karen is going to be here, I know, a little bit later
Yeah.
that I work with. Yeah.
Very fun.
I
I
love
can't
it.
wait. This is so much fun.
And well, before we go, for people out there that you said, psychic readings are very healing, and it's true. I just had a past life regression, first time.
Awesome. Very cool.
Where'd you go?
Well, it was with Char's sister.
I mean, where did you go?
Oh, I was like, where'd you go?
Back in
I went
time.
West
to
Hollywood.
about
States.
1700s. I was
Very cool.
I was an artist in the English countryside, and I painted for royalty, and some of my paintings in my mind said that are still around today.
And that's a lifetime as an artist when it was revered.
Yes.
Especially
Oh,
the
I
wealthy
was
people.
honored, yeah.
And then
I was
they
honored,
put
yeah.
you up in all the nice places and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's spirit portraits are very special. It's not just for grieving, people who want to connect with their grieving a parent or, whoever passed. But it's a great tool in learning about who you were in a
And
past life
healing.
and very healing.
Yeah.
I once drew my 5th generation grandfather on my mother's side, and I had a past life regression, and I learned
Wow.
that I was his daughter.
Really?
And I had died at like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And in my life, my mother died when I was young. I died young to teach my parents a lesson in my past life, and my mom died young in my life. It completes some kind of a cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still learning about it,
Oh.
but it's an
I
amazing
bet.
tool. The portraits can really be a great tool for anyone, just if they want to see who's hanging out.
Yeah. What'd you learn?
Me?
Yeah.
I really learned that I loved life, and I couldn't wait to go to the other side. Like I learned so much in life. This is what I was talking to with Char's sister about. But I loved, but I could not wait to get back to the other side.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, because as an artist, you're more connected to spirit and imagination and non-physical than you are if you're like just working at Taco Bell,
Yeah.
like I used to do. And I used to have dreams about those 10-pound blocks of cheese. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I'll wrap this thing up in a blanket, and I got me a baby.
baby.
That was before microwave.
Oh my god! Oh my god! All right. Well, we are gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna have our next guest. Eddie, tell us who our next
We
guest
have
is.
Miriam Faresh, and then we have Karen
Rentowski.
Rentowski. I want to say it right. Rentowski.
Yeah.
Do you have to go Rentowski?
No, you just say
That's
Rentowski.
Italian.
And she'll say, you said it right.
I was gonna say the way you said it was Italian or something. Rentowski.
Rentowski. Yeah.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much. All right, we'll be right back. Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor.
Don't go away.